Hello and welcome to CEC online lectures. So friends, we had started to learn about the recruitment and selection, and we had covered some important topics, like we learned that how recruitment is different from selection. What are the various terms that are used in the context of recruitment, like placement, induction, orientation, etc. We also learned about the recruitment process, that what all steps are taken by the HR managers while they are recruiting. Then we also learned that what are the various sources of recruitment, the internal sources, the external sources, from wherein the pool of candidates can be created by the HR departments. So by now we understand the thing that recruitments need to be preceded by job analysis. And job analysis, it helps the HR manager to obtain employees for openings that are anticipated in the future. So an understanding of the types of the skills needed and the types of job that may open in the future enables managers to have a better continuity and planning in staffing their organization. Similarly, selecting a qualified person to fill a job requires knowing clearly the work to be done and the qualifications needed for someone to perform the work satisfactorily. So, without a clear and a precise understanding of what a job entails, the HR manager cannot effectively select someone to do the job. So, when we are hiring, we must know first of all, number one, that why we are hiring, and number two, what skill sets we are hiring, what skill sets are required in performing a particular job. And that can be only done if we know that particular job well in advance. So today we are going to learn that what is job analysis, how the information is collected through job analysis, what are the objectives of job analysis, the purpose of job analysis information, what are the potential problems, because whenever we say job analysis, we are collecting information of a particular job. So what are the problems that are faced by the HR departments in collecting that information and developing a concrete documentation of a particular job. And then we'll also learn what are the steps in job analysis process. So let's begin with the concept of job analysis. Well, it is a systematic process of collecting information that identifies activities to be performed and attributes required for doing a job. So, a job is broken down and we identify what all activities are involved in performing that entire job, and attributes, what skills, what competencies, what knowledge an employee must possess to perform that job. And according to Edwin Flippo, a job analysis is a process of studying and collecting information relating to the operations and responsibilities of a specific job. So, apart from the skills and the activities performed, Flippo feels that a job analysis also underlines the responsibilities of a specific job. So, any HR manager must also be aware of all these aspects. Apart from, of course, the skills that we were talking, they must be aware that what all responsibilities are underlined in that particular job. So the immediate products of this analysis are job descriptions and job specifications. So when we perform the entire job analysis, the outcome of a job analysis is a job description and a job specification. That is again a separate topic of discussion, and I'll be discussing about it in this lecture. So a job analysis is a complete study of a job, embodying every known and determinable factor, including the duties, responsibilities involved in its performance, the conditions also under which the job performance is carried on, the nature of the tasks, the qualities required in the worker, qualities maybe mental qualities, the physical qualities, and it also includes such conditions of employment as the pay hour, the opportunities and privileges, etc. So it also emphasizes the relation of one job to others in the organization. So an organization has n number of jobs. So job analysis also helps us in identifying or evaluating or comparing one job in relation to the other job, so that the HR manager can decide on the pay structure. So if one job is more challenging than the other job, then it is very well obvious and understood that the more challenging job will be the more paid job, highly paid. So, job analysis also helps in determining this kind of a relation among the various jobs in an organization. So, as I already said, that it will be having three outcomes: job description, job specification, and job evaluation. So let's briefly understand what all three of them are. Well, job description, as the name suggests, it is the summary or the report that identifies, defines, and describes job as it is actually performed. So it basically involves all the duties and responsibilities that an individual shall be performing in that particular job. Whereas, if we talk of job specification, well, job specification is a statement of the human qualifications. So here we are not talking of the job, but here we are talking of the potential employee or the candidate that we are seeking. So it determines the qualifications, be it the educational qualification, some certifications, what experience does the potential candidate has, what skill sets he brings in. So all these aspects are included in the job specification. And then comes job evaluation. So as I said, that job evaluation is comparison of various jobs within an organization. So if we talk of the nature of all these, we can see that the nature of job analysis is that it seeks answers to what employee does, why employees does it, how employees does that, whatever job he is doing, how he is doing it, and why he is doing it. Right. So similarly, job description, the nature of the job description is that it is simply a summary statement of a job and lists the essential functions of that particular job. Whereas if we talk of the job specification, as I stated, it includes the personal qualifications required in terms of the skills, the education, the experience, etc. And the basis for job analysis is that it determines the job requirements. So holistically, what all are the requirements of a particular job, that can be understood from the job analysis. Whereas job description is the basis for employee orientation, employee induction, instructions, and in case any disciplinary action is to be taken. Similarly, job specification is the basis for the recruitment and selection of employees, the training and development of employees. So here we understand that job analysis leads to job description and job specification, and what are their nature and what are they helping in the HR in the organization. So this is, you can see, this is the entire job analysis process, and how different it has been divided into different parts. So in the beginning, you can see that there are some sources of data, because we collect data, and the sources can be a job analyst, an employee, or a supervisor. Then how do we collect data from them? You can see there are certain methods of collecting these data: through interviews, questionnaires, observations, then through internet. Then all this data becomes the job data. And what includes the job data? It will include the tasks, the performance standards, responsibilities, the knowledge and skills required, the experience required, what is the job context, the duties, the equipments, tools, softwares that are required to perform a particular job. So this entire job data, this further leads to job description and job specification. So whereas job description will define the tasks, duties and responsibilities, the job specification will define what all skill sets, physical demands, knowledge requirements are there of the candidate that has to perform the job. So job description describes the job specification will define the candidate or the potential employee who has to perform that particular job. Now, both these job descriptions as well as job specifications, they help out in the human resource functions, specifically recruitment, selection, training, development, performance appraisal, and compensation management. If I talk of job analysis, well, job analysis can be studied as a separate topic also. In some books, you will find it as a separate topic, means beside recruitment. This is not a part of recruitment. But since job analysis helps you, it guides the HR manager in finding out the right candidate. Because if we don't know what jobs we are hiring people for, so how will your hiring be effective? How will your recruitment and selection be effective until and unless you know what job we are hiring people for and what skill sets we require in the people we are hiring? So I feel that job analysis is one certain process that has to be a part of the recruitment and selection foremost. So in some books, you will definitely find job analysis as a part of the chapter in which you will find recruitment and selection. So I think before beginning with the selection or training development parts of the HR, I feel that it is very necessary for us to have a brief overview of how this job analysis part is done, and what are the types of information, what are the sources of these data, how is information collected, and how it helps the HR departments. So this is how the types of informations are collected via a job analysis. So it can be related to work activities, human behaviors, tools, work information, performance, and the job context. So let's learn about each one of them briefly. So as far as the work activities are concerned, the job oriented activities are there. There is the description of the work activities performed. It indicates how, why, and when a worker performs the activity. So it will include the work activities, what all processes are included in the job that you are performing, the procedures used, what are the activity records, and what is the personal accountability and responsibility of that candidate for which we are for which we are performing the job analysis. Then there are worker oriented activities. These include the human behaviors performed in work, like decision making is there, performing some physical actions or communication. So what all human behaviors will be performed by the candidate, that what elemental motions are there, which are you must have studied of the time and motion studies, that when I am performing a particular job, how many motions will be included. I am moving from one place to the other, I am walking from one place to the other, and I am coming back to my original position, and how much time it takes from each and every movement. So these are all elemental motions. Then it also includes the personal job demands, the human expenditures involved in work, such as energy expenditures, etc. It also includes the machines, tools, equipment, and work aids used. For example, what kind of computers you will be using, any particular hardware or software that will be used in performing your job, whether you require certain safety equipments like goggles or gloves are required in performing a particular job, and what other office tools like phone, books, fax, printers, what are machines or office tools you will be using, or work aids you will be using in performing your job. So other informations are the job related tangibles and intangibles. For example, what are the materials that are being processed, what products are being made, and any knowledge that has to be dealt with or applied. For example, any law you are applying, any chemistry is being applied in the particular job, and what services are being rendered, like laundering or repairing. So all these informations are also collected. Then what is the job context? Like what are the physical working conditions, the temperature, the lighting, in which an employee is working. So what is the work schedule like? Whether there is some social context of the job you are performing, and what are the incentives, like the financial or the non-financial incentives. So all these comes under the job context. Then the work performance, quantity or quality output levels that can be used to appraise employees. It can be the work measurements, the work standards, or the error analysis. So this information is also collected. Then personal requirements are also collected, like job related knowledge or skills such as education, training, or work experience required. Apart from the personal attributes, as I said, what is the aptitude of an individual, the physical characteristics, the personality, the interests that are required to perform a particular job. So now, coming to the objectives of job analysis, that why we perform job analysis. The first objective of job analysis is work simplification. So work simplification basically means that we are dividing the entire job into small parts, that are different operations in a product line or process which can improve the production or job performance. And job analysis, it provides information related to a job, and this data can be used to make the process or job simpler. And also it helps in better understanding of the job, because the entire job has been divided into smaller parts. So it basically simplifies the work. The next objective is setting up of standards. So standard means minimum acceptable qualities or results or performance or rewards regarding a particular job. And what job analysis does is that it provides the information about the job and the standard of each that can be established using this information. So it helps us in setting up standards of performing the acceptable quality, acceptable performance that has to be there to have benefits of the job. Then supporting HR activities. So job analysis, it provides support to various HR activities, like we learned that it helps in the recruitment, selection, training and development, and it also helps in wage administration, because it helps in identifying, or we can say it helps in differentiating one job from the other. So it helps in wage administration, whereby the more challenging jobs and jobs which involve more of decision making, more thinking, more critical thinking, that will be highly paid in comparison to other jobs which involve less of decision making. So that is why we say it helps in the wage administration and performance appraisals also. Now, why do we collect information? What is the purpose of all the information that we are collecting to perform the job analysis? So, what is the purpose of job analysis information is that it helps in the recruitment and selection, compensation, performance appraisal, training, and also helps in discovering some unassigned duties. So, when we perform the job analysis, we help in identifying those unassigned duties as well. Job analysis, it is said that it provides the information that is required for effectively recruiting and selecting individuals for jobs, and it helps in determining what kind of a person is required to perform a particular job. And it also points out the educational qualifications, the level of experience, technical, physical, emotional, personal skills required to carry out a job in a desired fashion. So the objective here we can identify is that job analysis helps us to fit a right person at the right place. Then determining compensation is concerned. So as factors such as skill and educational level, safety hazards, degree of responsibility are determined, and it plays a vital role in deciding the pay packages, and the extra perks and benefits are fixed and variable incentives of employees. So after all, a pay package depends on position, job title and duties and responsibilities involved in the job. So the process, it guides the HR managers in deciding the worth of an employee for a particular job opening. Then it helps in the designing relevant training programs for employees. So job analysis can be used to assess the training and development needs of employees. Then the difference between the expected level and the actual output, it determines the level of training that need to be imparted to employees. So it also helps in deciding the training content, that what all has to be included, what modules have to be included in our training sessions, what tools and equipments are to be used to conduct an effective training. So it helps in the training of employees. Then it also helps in conducting performance appraisal. So job analysis is done basically to check if goals and objectives of a particular job are met or not. So it helps in deciding the performance standards, the evaluation criteria, and the individual's output. So on this basis, the overall performance of an employee is measured, and he or she is, appraised accordingly. Then it also helps in discovering, as I said, the unassigned duties that should actually become a formal part of a job, but due to some reasons it has been unassigned. Then it also helps in validating the essential job or HRM functions for equal employment opportunity compliance under the uniform guidelines. Then very important, the job analysis, it provides us an opportunity for identifying the hazardous conditions and unhealthy environmental factors, so that some corrective measures can be taken, and the possibility of accidents can be minimized. So it helps us in identifying certain loopholes. Top management might be ignorant of all these loopholes, or some hazardous conditions or unhealthy factors are there which can be detrimental to the well-being and health of the employees. Then we will now discuss about what are the potential problems in the job analysis. So basically, if we say, we can say that there are these five problems. There is lack of support from top management. There are single means and source. Then lack of cooperation from employees has also been seen in certain organizations. Then there can be bias of the job analyst and the inability to identify the basic need of job analysis. So, as far as the lack of management support is concerned, this is the biggest problem that arises when a job analyst does not get proper support from the management. So, top management needs to communicate to middle level managers and employees to enhance their output or productivity of the process. So, in case of improper communication is there, the employees generally they have a notion that this is being carried out to fire them or take any disciplinary action against them, that why are they asking questions about my job. So to avoid such circumstances, the top management must effectively communicate the right message to their people. So that kind of a support is normally seen to be missing in many organizations. Then also there is lack of cooperation from employees. So if we talk about collecting authentic and accurate job data, it is almost impossible to get real and genuine data without the support of employees, because it is ultimately the information we are getting from employees themselves. So until and unless they understand that why this information has to be given, why they have to cooperate, the entire process will not be reaping benefits. So without their cooperation, it is a sheer wastage of time, money and human effort to conduct job analysis process. The need is to take the workers in confidence and communicate about its significance. So every employee has to be first taken into confidence, and they have to be communicated clearly and transparently that what is the need for a job analysis and why we are seeking this information from you. So when that clear communication is there, so they will open up and provide you with the authentic and more accurate and reliable data. Then there is also seen that there is a lack of training or motivation. So this also relates to the defect in the job analysis process, because job holders are a great source of information about a job. But since they are not trained or motivated to generate quality data for job analysis, so further, job holders are rarely made aware of the importance of data and are never rewarded for providing any accurate data. So this entire job analysis thing has to be clearly communicated, and it has to be done in a manner that it is a very transparent kind of a process. That no aspects of any information are being hidden, or the entire process is for the benefit of the employees as well. So this proper training has to be given to each employee who is delivering, and as well as to each employee who is performing the job analysis process, the analyst. So they also have to have a proper kind of a training and motivation to perform their job. Then there is certain times there is bias of the job analyst. So a balanced and an unbiased approach is the necessity while carrying out the process of job analysis. So to get a real and genuine data, a job analyst must be impartial in approach, because he's the one who is collecting the information from the employee who is performing the job. So he has to be impartial in his approach and not judge a particular job or not judge a particular employee. So he must not have his preconceived notions. And if it can't be avoided, it is better to outsource the process or hire a professional job analyst. So what the organizations most of the times do is that they hire someone in within the organization. So he or she does the analysis part, but they generally they are biased of performing certain biased of certain jobs and biased of certain people. So that it ruins the basic purpose of a job analysis. So if this cannot be done, if the biases cannot be removed, then it is always better to outsource or hire somebody from outside the organization, so that bias will be reduced when we hire somebody from outside or outsource the process. Then there is another problem, is that inability to identify the need of job analysis. Very important that we must be aware that why we need a job analysis, and that has to be first identified and then it has to be communicated. So if the objectives or needs of this process are not properly identified, the whole exercise is futile. So the managers must decide in advance that why this process is being carried out, what are its objectives, and what it is to be done with the collected and recorded data. So all these aspects of job analysis must be done in advance by the HR managers. Then another problem that the job analysis process faces is that using single data source. So a job analyst needs to consider more than one sources of data in order to collect true information, because there are we can say many aspects of a job. So if we are relying on just one source of information, that may be misleading or misguiding. So it is always better to collect data from a number of sources. So collecting data from a single source may result in inaccuracy, and therefore it defeats the whole purpose of conducting the job analysis process. So it is always better to use more than one sources, so that you can get a more holistic information, more true picture, a bigger picture of the entire job, and that will lead to a better job analysis with better results. So friends, up till now, we learnt about the basic introduction of as to what is job analysis, what are the outcomes of job analysis, namely job description, job specification, and job evaluation. And we also learned that what is the purpose of doing a job analysis, how informations are collected, what are the sources of information, and what are the perceived problems of performing a job analysis. So we'll continue with this topic in the next lecture. Thank you.